advocates whisper in the hall, where justice wears a mask and truth begins to fall. Every thread they pull, every lie they weave, in the courtroom's dance, who's left to believe? Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight. A photograph fades where the truth once stood. Blurred lines between the bad and the good. The scales they tilt with every silver tongue, while the broken cry for a song unsung. Black robes sway like shadows on the wall. One wrong word and the mighty fall. Who's a sinner? Who's a saint? The jury's out, but the verdict's faint. Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to know why I'm here today? It's not because I want to give you a pep talk or because I want to make you feel good about yourselves. No, I'm here to tell you the truth.
Well, hello there, everyone. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me out there. Hopefully you can, and there's no, yay, there's a 1, there's a 1. Thank you, SMA. So, welcome to the Sunday night edition of The Devil's Advocates. Great to have you guys here again. For those of you who may not know, Sundays will typically take off. The man does deserve one night a week to rest his bones and recharge and all that. So you have myself and nice surprise tonight. We have back with us once again our favorite law enforcement guru and all around just panel fave, Mr. 11 will be with us once again. He's feeling better, and so we'll be bringing him up in just a moment here. And it looks like, let's see. Oh, good. We have Jason from Estes Crime Maze backstage as well. First, I'm just going to say some hellos here, and please let me know, where are you tuning in from? So looks like we have, of course, our lovely mods. We have Pennywise. We have Amanda B. And let's see who else do we have. Looks like, I'm not sure how to say this one, but Dane Rhineston Garia. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that, but sorry, that's right. Sorry. I have to put that in my brain here. So we have Star. So good to see you tonight, Star. We have Caden is here with us. Looks like we have Heidi. Essie May, as always, one of our regulars and near and dear to my heart. Let's see, who else do we have this evening? We have Dina Seitz with us, one of our regulars in here. So, and it looks like we have B. Randy J. We have Queen of Denial, Skullmachi or Skullmaki. I'm not sure which way you pronounce that, but we're glad to see you. You're getting to be a familiar name here in the den. You, of course, anyone who enters the den, you are known as denizens. So welcome. And let me see who else is here tonight. From your cold RV in a snowy Kansas. Oh, Dina. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you're trying to keep warm there. All right. So just letting everybody pop in here. And while we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and bring up 11 and Jason. So let me add those gentlemen to the stage here, and let me unmute their mic. I'm trying to unmute you. Okay, there we go. Okay, say something there. 11, we're so glad to have you back. I want to make sure everyone can hear you.
Hello, how is everyone tonight? Can you hear me, Robin?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Hi, Estes. Jason, how are you? Happy Thanksgiving, even though you don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving anyway.
Well, you're such a nice guy. You were sick and you're wishing me a Thanksgiving in Canada. I hope you're feeling better, dude. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Hi, Robin.
Thank you.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, you're not on a delay tonight.
Fucking right. I talked to some members of the CIA and the NSA in particular. And I said, guys, play it fair. I'm Estes Crime Maze, and I'm on Amazing Devil's Advocate show. Please do not interfere anymore. And they said, Jason, we're going to give you a break. So,
maybe I'll have to send them a Christmas card or something to make to thank them for leaving us the hell alone so we can do our freaking show, man. So, yes, 11. We are certainly glad to see you and glad that you are better.
I'll plug my two lines. Is it good to be alive on a Sunday night in the den? And of course, live from New York, it's Sunday night in the den. Here we go.
All right. Cool. Oh my goodness. And I will do my best to highlight some. Oh, hey, State of the Deep. Woohoo! Oh, he's catching up on some work. Oh, that's okay. I'm glad you tuned in. Stopped in anyway, Joe. That's great. I assume you're hard at work on your channel. Don't make me crap the whip. Crack, whatever you want to say. But yeah, thanks for stopping in. Oh, Lucy Morningstar is here with us tonight. Always glad to see you. So yeah, we usually always have a full panel, but Joe has been busy putting things together for his own channel, which is State of the Deep. I think let me grab that link to his channel, because what we're trying to do is build up his channel. And of course, I'm going to put the link for Jason's channel as well, because we're trying to get Jason monetized, because as everyone knows, he's got a very important boxing match coming up. So
Yeah.
we
Gotta hit,
we got to get him there. We got to get him
Thank
there,
you.
folks.
he's got to hit 2,500.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
right. So we got a ways to go, but we can do it. We can do it,
Thank
folks.
you. Thank you,
Okay,
Robert.
so this is yeah. This is
I might
Jason's
have
channel.
to. I might have to walk the streets of New York City, just like kind of getting people, because I gotta see that boxing match.
We'll be sending you out with flyers.
Flyers. Flyers.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and this is Joe's channel. So everybody sub to those guys. They do important work in the true crime community. They have a somewhat different bent than Lee does, of course. But as we all know, Lee entertains all different kinds of perspectives and appreciates everyone's opinions. So we don't discriminate here. But no empathy, no sadness. Fuck yours off. Oh, come on. This is going to be good tonight. Okay, so we're going to be tonight talking some Idaho 4, of course. 1-1. This man's dedication, let me tell you. He's been sick. He's still putting together notes of something he wanted to go over this evening that DA had covered, but something he wanted to kind of go a little bit more in depth with and talk about. So he's still been, thinking about getting ready for when he could get back on. And tonight just happened to be the night. And so we're going to go over Idaho 4, and we're going to talk some Lisk, Long Island serial killer, Rex Heuermann case, and we're going to touch a little bit on Luigi Mangione. So we typically like to cover at least the 3 out of the 5 cases that Lee works on as well. He covers the Mickey Stein's case from Kentucky, and also the Charlie Kirk case, of course. So yeah, Joe's not reading the chat. We got to get, we have some plans for that. But anyway, so without further ado, I'll go ahead and one quick bit of housekeeping. Please like the video, okay? Share the video, sub to the channel, because let me tell you, Lee's got all kinds of good stuff coming up. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure you do that. So, and now without further ado, 1-1. If you want to go ahead here, but Jason, wait a minute. How have you been? I know you were having some technical difficulties in that, but how else have you been today?
Oh, well, thanks for asking. It's just a lot of responsibility here at the farm, but overall enjoying it, and yet at the same time anxious to getting back home soon, and looking forward tonight to delve into these cases with you guys. I may have to go at 10 o'clock a little early tonight.
That's okay.
But okay, thanks. But we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And your puppies last night were so cute.
Oh, yeah, thank you. They're a blast. There's 7 of them back there. I might take some out and put them in front of the screen again. Who knows? Surprise you guys.
Oh, gosh. Okay. And so now, all right, 1-1. I'm gonna attempt to share my screen. I'm just making sure I'm closed out of some stuff without actually closing StreamYard. That would suck. I had to remember how to do this.
Yeah.
Well, if we disappear, we know why.
So So what?
Don't jinx me, Jason. Come on.
What we're gonna discuss a little bit is basically there's this so there's 2 closed hearings. One was on May 21st, 2025. That one basically has to do with the non-dissemination order and the families and people releasing info and all that nonsense. And then there's another closed hearing that was on 5/5 that we'll discuss a little bit later. That's
Okay.
basically about 18. Let me find it. 18-207, which is the mental health evaluation dispute. So
Okay.
these were pretty big things. Nothing that's like a bombshell or anything like that, but just a few things to discuss. So Robin is putting part of the document. So the first one, I guess we'll discuss, was actually from 521. So this was from Judge Hippler. It's CR 0120. What was that?
Can you guys see me actually scrolling?
Yeah, we can.
Is it?
Yeah, it's scrolling.
I can't see because I'm on a laptop, so I'm flipping back and forth between the tabs. So
That's okay.
So it's the first one from May.
Yeah, right. So the first one we'll discuss, which is actually the later one. It's just how I have it. May 21st. So it's CR 01-24-31665. State versus Brian C. Coberger. Discussion role of victims. So
Got it.
This was basically Hippler wanted to discuss the non-dissemination order and what was going on. This was super interesting, right? Because we had all those documents and all those things. All the documentary, the Netflix. I think there was one right on Peacock. Right. Books came out, and
yeah,
I don't really see how a judge could possibly say that there is not some kind of bias in with selecting the jury when all this stuff comes out, and you're talking about a death penalty case here, right? At the time.
Right.
So I just don't understand when you have an author who Howard Bloom, and right, there was another book too, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
Patterson.
I think Patterson. I think he interviewed over 100 different witnesses or people involved. Some law enforcement, some students. I mean, clearly. Clearly there was a violation of this dissemination, non-dissemination disorder. So,
Right.
how could you possibly have had a fair trial? But it is interesting nonetheless. So this particular part, so just the beginning. Basically, I guess everyone pretty much has a lawyer present. Kim Kernodle sat in for, who is Xana Kernodle's aunt, I guess. Like there was a little issue made because she basically was requested to sit in for Jeff Kernodle, but she doesn't really count as a victim. So there was a little like discussion on that. So the judge had to basically, go through all this stuff on how everything here is secret and all that. But basically the gist, the hearing involved Judge Hippler addressing the victims' families regarding media comments, non-dissemination orders, and leaks connected to Dateline and other upcoming media projects. The major focus is that Judge Hippler was warning that public commentary by family members, especially Steve Gonzalez, was jeopardizing the ability to see the jury and proceed to trial. The judge emphasized that ongoing media interviews, leaks, and speculation could damage the case and delay justice.
Okay.
So, there's a moment where Steve Gonzalez challenges the judge, expresses anger about the gag order, and asserts that some victims were gagged, which is interesting. A statement the judge did not he doesn't dispute that. So
Yeah.
it's I felt that was pretty interesting. I think it was April to May, 2025 Dateline. That's when the Dateline episode came out. Obviously, there was some kind of leaked info there. It doesn't show any guilt, but obviously, you know, there is an issue with it.
Right.
So, as I say, yeah, the judge only certain victims, only certain people relatives can specifically qualify as victims legally under the statute. It clarifies it's a sealed hearing. Nothing said can be publicly redistributed. And it's very interesting because this document that we have here, this document got leaked in itself. This hasn't been officially part of the released documents. So it's very interesting that we have a leaked document about leaks. You know, why does this stuff happen? Right? You're right.
A leaked document about leaks. Okay.
Right. Exactly. So the judge has a concern about the Dateline interview, forthcoming books, documentaries. He stresses that every time someone speaks to the media, the trial date becomes more at risk, could jeopardize seating a jury at all. And he warns the family's desire to speak must take a backseat to justice. Then the judge and Steve kind of went at it a little bit. We'll read that in a moment. That little back and forth. Hitler basically asked Steve to stop talking to the media for the sake of the fair trial, and Steve basically said he doesn't know if he agrees with that. And he specifically says we don't have to have a gag order. Some of the victims were gagged, and he states this firmly, not hypothetically. The judge doesn't dispute it. He instead reaffirms the non-dissemination rules, and this is presented as highly significant.
What victims were gagged?
Well,
yeah.
He doesn't use any name, but it's just interesting because remember, this is a sealed hearing too, and so this is part of the court record, and he stated that, and the judge doesn't. He doesn't. Take away, say anything against of what he said. So the judge says he doesn't have to hold a trial if the jury cannot be seated. So the judge, he's showing he's concerned, which is amazing. That he's kind of concerned about fairness. Possibly not convinced of Coberger's guilt, focused on judicial integrity, not confirming facts, which is interesting because every time we saw a public hearing, it looked like a circus show, right? But I just find it funny in a closed hearing, he kind of goes at him. And Steve reaffirms, these were his children. It's his duty as a parent. Judge tells him to stop taking risks. Person you believe is accountable, responsible, implying neutrality about guilt. And he just basically reemphasizes that there is an existing non-dissemination order, and it will be enforced with vigor. And all families are subject to it, despite public debate or opinion. There is discussion of a special prosecutor, and anticipates appointing one within a day about leaks that are ongoing. And then he set some deadlines for counsel. So if you want to go, I guess you can go to, I guess it's mostly the last. Well, I'll read. It's, I guess, the bottom of page 3.
Okay.
I'll read. So it says 10:19:45 a.m.
Yep.
You have it up. So I'll start to read. So Hitler says he addresses Kim Kernodle. In the legal sense of the word, you do not qualify as victim for purposes of Victim Rights Act. I'm willing to allow you to be here today because what I say may be important to you and the broader Kernodle family. I want everybody on the call to understand that this is a sealed hearing. What is talked about in here by me or anyone else on the call is not for public redistribution. Period. End of story. If there is anyone who has a problem with that, now is the time to let me know that. No response given. Again, 10:20, Hitler again. As some of you have heard, and I discussed with counsel last week in a sealed proceeding, the fact that in a recent television news magazine reported some items that have not been part of the public discourse, public discussion prior to that. There is concern about ongoing publicity related to not just that interview, but other ones that apparently are coming forward, including a book as well as another documentary. Quotes around the word documentary because I'm not sure how they have a documentary without knowing what the facts actually are at this point. But nonetheless, I understand those are forthcoming. I want to stress for folks the ability to conduct this trial at the time that we have it scheduled for and potentially at all is jeopardized every time you talk to the media. Every time you republish statements or evidence that was never supposed to be in the public sphere in the first place. What I'm telling you now, it needs to stop. Again, Hitler, I'm not entering an order apart from what has already been ordered in this case with respect to non-dissemination. But I'm telling you, as you know, there is already a motion to continue the trial pending. The more you talk, and at this point continue talking at all to the media, it jeopardizes that trial date. It jeopardizes my ability to see the jury. At some point, if I can't see the jury, I don't know what happens then. My guess is that you are probably not going to be happy with it. If you are truly interested in seeking to have a trial in the pursuit of justice, your desire or willingness to talk needs to take a back seat. The judge, Hitler addresses Steve G. Individually, you in particular have a history of speaking to the media, and I understand as a father your reasons. I'm asking you to set that desire aside so that we can get to a trial in this case. Steve G says, I don't know if I agree with that. Hitler, well, I'm telling you what the facts are, whether you agree with them or not. Steve G, the facts are that we don't have to have this gag order. That's the facts. We do not have to have a gag order. I think it's disgusting that we are even saying the word gag when some of the victims were gagged. I think it's disgusting that we are asked to hide what happened to our children. I don't agree with it. Hitler, I don't care if you agree with it or not. Sit. I also don't have to have a trial if I can't see the jury. Steve G, I understand you have a job to do, and I do, and so do I as a parent. These are my children. I care what happens to them. Hitler, you're talking right now is not going to bring your child back, and it potentially endangers the ability to hold the person you have indicated that you believe is accountable to account for this. Steve G, I don't agree there. Hitler, again, I'm telling you what the ramifications are for continuing that. That is what I wanted to share. That's what I wanted you to be aware of. I will enforce the non-dissemination order for any violations, and I will enforce them with vigor. And then it goes on a little bit more, asking about some disclosure and whatnot, and then and they actually, are there any other matters or whatever? So it was an interesting dialogue. It's that Hitler just going right at Steve G. That I, sure, Steve G was in the limelight. Right, I know he was on the news, but what about the other 100 witnesses who gave interviews for these documentaries? They're under gag order too. So what about them?
Yeah.
It's just
It's just an interesting dynamic watching them butt heads, and I'm really not surprised. I will agree with Steve G on the point that to some extent, I think things were too gagged, too sealed. They're sealing motions to seal the motion. And it was just starting to get sealing to the point that you couldn't even see what they were filing and what motions they were bringing in. I mean, it was just ridiculous. How do you feel about that exchange, Jason?
The only thing I could focus the whole time as you guys were talking when I heard it was Steve G saying I thought when he said gagged, was he not mentioning his daughter, that he was claiming she was gagged, or is it court documents?
Yeah. He has said he has done other interviews where he has mentioned that she had some kind of thing over her mouth, but I only heard it from him, and this was the only time I really actually saw it in some kind of like court hearing where it was actually mentioned in a court hearing. But what's interesting with this going back and forth, remember, this is a sealed hearing as well, and Hitler doesn't dispute anything that he says, which is quite interesting.
That's astounding to me. He didn't dispute the fact that people have been gagged.
Right.
Wow.
So we're supposed to believe one or more victims were gagged, that Kaylee's nose was busted. I'm saying this with respect here, and that there was like 50 stab wounds in one of the victims, that Aryan Knights or Aryan family or Brian Coberger want to mutilate the women's faces. And so we've been asked to believe all that for the last couple of years. I just want to put that out there. I don't believe any of this. It's just too crazy, man. But a lot of people just don't even question that. I don't mean you guys, of course.
No. Well, the part that the one thing that, which kind of, I guess, would push me more into the territory of some, of whatever, a theory or of certain things that you have possibly suggested, is this whole nonsense about like even sealing documents. Like, what kind of nonsense is that? Like, you never hear this garbage.
That's what I should have asked you on our show, is have you heard that in your police work?
No. I mean, you're always going to have, some like certain things, obviously, could be sealed at a time. They're still investigating or whatnot, but
sure.
Sealing documents. I mean, what are we doing here? It's like, it's like they're making like a puzzle on top of a puzzle on top of a puzzle for no reason, just to create more nonsense and more, look over here, don't look left, look over here, right? And that's where I don't know if I necessarily, like, me personally, if I fully believe it would, that they're all in witness protection, all that, but I definitely see certain things like this with sealing the documents and all this nonsense. It definitely puts it in your realm of theory, like what is going on here, like this.
Yeah, and again, they can do all that, apparently, the feds, under some of these codes, U.S. codes law, like U.S. Code 3521, as well, WITSEC. You were seeing it, I think, play out in this sham stage trial or theater, however you want to call it, in a show, or show hearings, I should say. We never saw the actual trial, but
Right.
Yeah. Okay. You let me know where you want to pick up here, one.
Okay, yeah. So now the second part of this, which is a longer document, but I'm not gonna. Yeah, I think this is like 14, 15 pages. I'm not gonna read. I'm not reading each thing that went on, but just so on 5/5. So this actually happened about 15 days before, or 16 days before the other one. This is what they basically call it State versus Brian C. Coberger. State's motion for examination of defendant and for extension of time to complete rebuttal penalty phase expert disclosures. This basically is all this was all about 18-207, which is the mental health evaluation dispute.
Okay.
So it's the argument. It was arguments between the defense and the prosecution, and Judge Hippler's ruling limiting psychological testing, particularly blocking the state from performing personality disorder testing, which could hint at psychopathy. The judge permits only a neuropsychological evaluation, and he allowed a one-way video feed for counsel, and emphasizes timing failures by the state. But the main thing with this was that the states was basically relying on a strategy of could have been inferences rather than concrete evidence. So basically the big issue with this is that it seems like it would, from the surface, it seems like Hippler, like he's kind of ruling in favor of the defense, right? That the state can't do a psychological, they can't do this personality thing. But the thing is that the defense was trying to argue, saying that Kohlberger has autism, or that he's on the spectrum, and what Hippler ruled was that, well, so by him ruling this, so this is the thing. It's basically, it was a twofold thing. He, I guess, whether if you want to say Hippler he thinks that Kohlberger is guilty in his mind or whatnot, he was afraid that, let's say he did approve of this personality thing, and it came back as, okay, he's autism, he's on the spectrum and whatnot, or the expert says, well, he has this, it's proven that they have this kind of defect or whatnot. He didn't want that to be able to be argued to remove the death penalty. That's what all this was.
Right.
That's what all of it was about. So this wasn't about anything about helping the defense, or this was, although it appears from the surface like, but they couldn't, they wouldn't be able to do, this psychological, this specific personality test to show that he's a psychopath. Correct. But at the same time, the defense is not going to be able to argue that, well, he has autism and he's on the spectrum, and therefore the state, although they wouldn't be able to use the word, it's proven by this test that he's a psychopath. They wouldn't be able to use that term. However, they would be able to infer and use certain wording to basically say, well, it's not proven that that what they basically would do. They basically were going to use I forget the term, I forget the term, but they basically were going to go the opposite way, and they were going to basically try to throw it down, basically shove it down the jury's throat. Well, the personality test wasn't approved to be done. So you can't say that he has autism, but it's possible that there could be another reason. That's what they were going to say. So they wouldn't be able to actually say in court, oh, he's a psychopath, like, right? So that, because
Olivia Gonzalez. Olivia
Right.
Gonzalez, she made it very well known to the world that
Right.
Brian Coberger's a psychopath.
Right. But I mean, in the actual, if during the trial,
If it had been a trial.
if there had been a trial, the state wouldn't have been able to use that word. However, like I said, how they would have thrown it down the throat, just like how mainstream media, how many times did Nancy Disgrace and Brian Enton and Banfield and all these other clowns,
Yep.
how many times did they say, oh, Coberger cleaned his car, oh, Coberger threw his garbage out, and it's all been debunked, it's all nonsense.
Right.
Well, the same thing, like with this, they would have put the seed into the jury's mind. They wouldn't have been able to use the word psychopath. That would have been not allowed. That would have been stricken. However, they would have said, well, it's not proven that he has autism. It's, you can't say that he has autism because the test wasn't done. But it could be another reason. So they would have been inferring basically that he is a psychopath without saying it. And it's kind of nonsense. It kind of really, really ridiculous that Hitler, because that's really what it looked like was going to happen.
Yeah.
So
he just the whole thing is he didn't want to be there in the beginning. Okay, the very first words out of his mouth, were essentially, "I don't want to be here." So then he just tried to play, judge, jury and executioner, and wanted to just speed this thing along and get it done and over with as quickly as possible. And it just seemed to me anything he could do to make that happen, he was going to do it. I mean, he saved Ashley Jennings' ass how many times? During hearings. I mean, come on. I still don't understand how that can't be some type of misconduct there. But who's going to do anything about it? That's one of the many, many questions about this whole thing, So that is, I'm sorry, did I interrupt you one?
No,
You
you
have
didn't.
to tell me where I'm
It's
going
fine.
here.
No. It's I mean, that's basically that was the thing. The judge, he was basically trying to lure in the defense of trying to argue. He would try to argue this. The defense said that their experts did not perform personality testing. Reference to childhood behaviors does not justify expanding the scope. And the judge basically argued that if defense claims he's not antisocial, the state should be allowed to test. And the defense basically clarified, saying they will not introduce evidence about personality disorders. However, because Ann Taylor was smart, Ann Taylor knew where this was going. She knew what was happening. So, but the judge still pushed the idea that testing might be needed. He was afraid of the death penalty getting thrown out. That's why he was really making a big issue out of this. The judge notes legal precedent does not guarantee attorney presence during the psych evals, but he offered a compromise. He said there would be a one-way video feed that counsel could observe. The defense agreed, no objection to general evaluation. However, there was an objection remaining to the personality testing, plus exclusion from the room. The judge confirmed that the 18-207 does give the state certain rights, but not unlimited ones. So the judge was wary that personality testing could create personality disorder findings, which could be misused as aggravating evidence. So, again, he was so afraid that it would come to light that okay, he is far on the spectrum or whatnot, and therefore the death penalty should be thrown out.
Yeah.
He said the state should have filed earlier. Personality testing risk, confusing mitigation versus aggravation. The judge's reasoning of timing. He said the state should have sought an extension earlier. He was talking about dates and whatnot. He's stressing fairness. His whole big thing about discovery deadlines, when the discovery deadlines were violated left and right, absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
And
I don't
both
know.
judges allowed it.
Right. He makes comments about discovery deadlines and then doesn't back it up with anything.
You're right.
The judge says Hippler said he'll allow a neuropsychological exam by the state. He will not allow a personality disorder testing, which is psychopathy assessments. Personality testing risks become aggravating. He leaves room for the state to argue. Because personality testing wasn't done, autism diagnosis may lack validation. Exactly what I just laid out for you before. They cannot directly claim antisocial personality disorder. So he was leaving like the door open. The defense can't claim autism, and the state can't claim that he's a psychopath, but the state would have inferred he was a psychopath. They would have made leading statements and whatnot. He went over, defense can't be in the room. Both parties may view via one-way camera. That's what matches what the defense experts had. It has to be done within 21 days. The judge he urged expedited scheduling. And the judge, no, it's just state lost its chance to justify extra time. So, like, I just find it funny. Like he makes it sound like he's coming so hard. He's being so hard on the state, but he really isn't.
Right.
It's
right.
The ruling later justified the judge denying the defense's continuance request. The defense didn't give the state more time. Court used that against defense later on. And then so remember, this was May 5th, 2025. So something between this hearing and the plea negotiations caused the defense to shift strategy, whatever it was. So remember, so they had 21 days. So did something. So they weren't allowed to do the personality thing, but they were allowed to do the neuro test. So did something come back on that neuro test that Ann Taylor was worried about? And we don't know. We don't know the results of that.
Yeah, we don't know because that hasn't been released. And I'm curious as to whether that would fall, like releasing that documentation would fall under HIPAA somehow. Because we're dealing kind of like with mental health, whether that will actually be released or not.
Yeah. Oh, for now, yeah, I don't know. And then basically the major summary of this, kind of like what I started with, the main headline. So the judge's ruling blocks explicit psychopath testing, but he leaves room to imply it, that is a problem. And then the main thing again, which has to be stressed, if you look at this whole case, the whole argument, right? Everything that would have been argued and discussed, the car direction, the K-bar knife, the phone being off, everything is about could have been. Like nothing is directly proven. We still don't know the direct car direction. And why don't we know the car direction? Because they have Cy Ray and what he's involved with is still under gag order, right? So that is still under gag order. the K-bar knife. People are like, well, what do you mean? He used a gift card from his family's account and he bought a K-bar knife. Okay, but so what does that mean? Did they? I haven't seen any document or anything that said specifically that the K-bar knife that was ordered from Amazon is the direct knife that made all the knife wounds. I didn't see anything that said that.
No,
Unless I missed it. I didn't see
I
I didn't
have
see a
not seen
document that
anything
said
like
that. His phone being off. Again, we've spoken about this many times. Is it awkward that his phone was off? Well, to me, it's not awkward that someone's phone gets turned off. What's awkward is
Right.
what's the behavior surrounding the phone being off. So now what do I mean by that? Well, if you're going to look at like you look at a 6-month period of Coberger's phone, was this the one time in a 6-month period that his phone went off? Still, that's still not enough to me to say convict someone of murder, but that would be something that would be awkward. That would be a behavior trait that's awkward. It's not that his phone went off. It's how often does his phone go off? Like we're not getting any info about that. Does his phone go off? Does he turn his phone off a few times a week? Or not? Like
Right.
that's the important thing. That it's the behavior.
Right.
It's the behavior behind his phone going off, not just that his phone went off. I know, like mainstream media, you want to just believe, he turned his phone off at whatever, at 2:30. He left his apartment. He turned his phone off. He's trying to hide something. He's guilty. No, that's what mainstream media says. That doesn't mean, that means that's bullshit. That means does this happen once a week? Does he, I don't know. Does he meet with Copaca once a week? Is he working for the CIA? Is he on a drug task force? Maybe he turns his phone off once a week. I don't know. We don't have that info.
Right.
So just because mainstream media says, his phone went off at 2:30. How
do you know that?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
His phone went off at 2:30. Oh, what's more suspect to me is Copaca's phone being factory wiped. How about that?
Yeah.
So they say.
Yeah.
So they say, but if that is accurate, if that is accurate, if that is true, to me, someone's phone being factory wiped is a pretty big deal.
Yeah. Do you think it's a big deal that I'm sidetracking here, but do you think it's a big deal that Kaylee's mom, Christy, never received, of course, her phone? Apparently, the electronics.
Yeah, it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Isn't her phone? I think it's the only one, right? That wasn't returned.
As far as yes, that's correct.
I believe that's the only one. Why
so.
Is that? Right, and why is that?
I'd love to know why.
Right. Some of the stuff that you bring up, Jason, is why did Kaylee's death certificate come out a month later? It's very odd, very weird. Was it just some kind of mistake, or like, I don't know? It is strange.
Yep.
I give you that. So how do you guys feel about that? How it really like this specific thing really showed, if I understand if you believe it's a show, but if you believe that it's not a show trial, that it actually possibly Coberger was going to go to trial, and you look at this, it really sheds light on Hitler. Like he really is something else. He really tries to make it look like, oh, he's coming down hard on the state, and he's busting their chops about violating a deadline and this and that and that. And, oh well, I'm not gonna allow the personality test, but he's really helping them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And to that, I know you were asking Jason about how he felt about, this. So I'm gonna let him go ahead and answer that. What are your thoughts? If we're I have two questions. The first one is, how do you feel about what Hitler did here? And then I have another one to ask you, Jason, after you answer that one.
Sure. I don't have a lot to say about Hitler reacting. I agree with a lot of what one has said and his frustration over that. And I totally agree. I'll leave it at that. What's your second question?
Okay. Second question is, this is from Foxy Rose. I told her I will come back to her question, and so I am. She wants to know, how does DM fit into witness protection, though? Do you have thoughts about how, Dylan might fit into that?
Yes, I wish I could come up with a good answer. I've always wondered what you mean, like why they were left unharmed? Because they're not in
I
with.
guess so. I'm not sure she didn't really expound upon that. Like, would that be something that she would maybe left behind as a distraction? Maybe.
I never thought of it that way, Robin. Yes, that could very well be a distraction. And certainly the U.S. Marshals felt like, I believe, that their lives were not in danger in any way and they didn't need to take action. And so they were left, as you say, maybe as a distraction. But certainly Kaylee, Maddie, and Xana and Ethan, I think obviously their lives were in danger in some way, whether it be hit or whatever. And I think, again, the U.S. Marshals got rid of them. But the $1 million question is, what is Dylan and Bethany's really role in all this? What did they know? Did they know the girls were in danger? I would think they would, but we don't know that for sure. And a lot of people have said it sure looks like they were coached to lie. Pavarotti seems to believe a lot of what they're saying, but I'm not sure why you would believe Dylan and Bethany half the things they say. So,
Well,
I hope I answered the question somewhat. Sorry.
Yeah,
we'll mention him. We'll mention him in a second because I know you love to go at good old Pav, and I do like his videos, and he makes them very interesting. I will say, I was talking to Lee about this as well. So Pav basically his newer stuff now, he's basically like trying to make a connection to maybe like a coach or whatnot that Kaylee was somehow connected to. But I find it funny that he just I don't know what it is that he's willing to go down the path that a coach could be possibly involved, that she babysat for some coach, or maybe there was some kind of other relation, but he won't go down the path that maybe there's some people connected to a frat or whatnot that had anything to do with anything. I don't know. It just baffles my mind. But the one thing I wanted to say, so we do, I'm respectful to all the all other creators. There's a bunch of them out there. We have our different opinions and whatnot. But I will tell you from myself, I have over 20 years in law enforcement. With NYPD, I'm still active. Actually, I have 22 to be honest. I don't understand. So here's the thing: when you have some kind of crime, so we'll put in, obviously in this case, a homicide, right? You have a homicide, which for all purposes is the worst crime that you would be investigating. You do your interview, and when you basically come to the conclusion that someone is lying or they lied about something in the interview, well, now you have to go back And this is why, you have a second interview, a third interview, and you go back and, some of the stuff that you said. Now, just because someone lies or they stretch the truth of something, does that mean that everything that they said in the interview is false? No. Could they have been telling some truths? Absolutely. But I don't understand. I don't how at this point, and I know the documents that have been out. Jay Embry is putting video out there, and he's saying, "I don't understand you guys. Why is everyone attacking still Dylan and Bethany? Dylan and Bethany, like the documents are out there, and they're consistent. If you look at all the interviews, except we don't have the one on Dylan from Homeland Security and the FBI, and we'll probably never get that one. But the other interviews, they're all consistent. She said, Kaylee went up the stairs, went down the stairs, and this happened, and that, what I could say is, yeah, she consistently lies in the interview. I mean, I don't know how exact at this point. I don't know what his background is, but from my background, absolutely. As we get more info and more stuff comes out, if we're going to believe that whatever report and whatever autopsy info, medical info is actually accurate and authentic, and it's not dummied. If we go by that, it's authentic. Sure, you're going to get different. You're going to get different theories, and you're going to get different info that makes you now believe or change. Like, oh, we didn't have this info 2.5 years ago. Absolutely, but I don't know how you can do a video and you can be out there and you can say, oh, everything that Dylan and Bethany say, come on, you guys are ridiculous. You should believe them. The only thing that is the problem is right when they call 911. What are you talking about? Every interview that Dylan has done, she recants like different stuff. So maybe in 2 or 3 of the interviews, yeah, she says, "Oh, I heard someone go up the stairs. I heard someone go down the stairs." Right. Yeah, there might be some similarities. You listen to the words. You really take the words that they say. Oh, you listen to the words that Bethany says. They had walls of paper. You could hear everything through the walls, right?
Right.
Listen to the 1112 camera. Whether it's Murphy or it's some other dog down the street, whatever. If we can't confirm it's Murphy or not, there's a dog barking, right? We all hear a dog barking. Right. We hear other noises at 3, a little like a minute after Molly gets in front of the house, we hear some weird like noises and stuff, right? So we hear all those noises. We hear those noises that loud on the 1112 camera. But Dylan and Bethany don't hear any of this. They don't hear people screaming. Like all Dylan remembers. Oh, I remember Kaylee was I think she was dancing and laughing with Murphy and went up the stairs. And I'm here. I'm here to help. You would have heard these people screaming like blood curdling screams. Like, what do you? They're clearly lying. It's clearly lying. Obviously, I don't know what the deal is with Bethany. Dylan is going by that, I don't believe Dylan was there the whole time. My personal thing, if that she was there during the homicide, I don't believe she was there after the atrocity happened. I believe she left. I don't believe she was. The smell of those bodies, and the door was left wide open. We were in like the middle of November. It would have been freezing in that house. The smell, it would have been unbearable. There's no way I believe that Dylan just sat in the bedroom and we know that they weren't sleeping, right? We know that because they were on their phone. We know that. So Bethany, I don't know what Bethany did. She was out of there right away. Dylan, I believe, whatever her role was, if she was somehow involved in the cleanup or something, but I don't believe maybe she left with Bethany at 4:30, because I do believe
This
that
is
Hunter Chapin went over there at 4:30 because his truck was, the SUV was there. We know it was there.
mm,
I do believe that he came over at 4:30. Do I think he had anything to do with the murders? No. Maybe he didn't know everything that went on, or whatnot. I don't know, but I do
right.
believe he went at
It's
4:30 to get Bethany. Dylan
right.
is kind of the
That
oddball.
could be.
I'm not sure. Maybe she left with him, or maybe she left with her good old boyfriend Quinn there too. Who the
Well,
hell knows?
right. And that's the problem. We have too many variables.
But to
Someone, I was
say,
trying to
right.
find it, made
Go ahead. Go
someone
ahead.
made a yeah, oh no, someone made a comment about what would, like, say that they weren't there, what would their charges be? Well, if they left like right before it all went down. Well, it just depends. Were they involved in any kind of, and understand this is speculation, people. Okay, we're doing a little bit of speculation here. We're not accusing anyone of anything. Oh, wait a minute. We
Sorry,
lost you, now you're back. Okay,
I
there you
keep
go.
pressing the wrong. I keep
We're not
pressing the wrong
accusing
button.
anyone. Yeah, we're not accusing anyone. This is just speculation. And it's a good legal question. What would their charges be? Well, that would depend if they were involved in anything, any kind of planning. Okay, that's conspiracy. Maybe
Yeah,
you can still
accessory to
be part of
murder.
the
Yeah.
crime and not even be there. But if you
Conspiracy.
were
Right.
right part of
There's
the
a
planning, right?
conspiracy to commit murder. There's all kinds of stuff. Right.
Right. So we don't really have any way of knowing that. Um, as far as what a charge would be, depending on whether it could be proven at this point that they, had any involvement at all in it, in anything. So, as with so much with this case, there's just so many variables, and I guess that's why, for me personally, I'm not totally married to any one theory. I have my own theory that I'm still kind of working out, but and do I think I'm right? No, full disclosure, I'm relatively new to uh true crime. My lovely fiance Essie, she's the true crime buff, and I'm talking, we're 54, and she's been a true crime buff since high school. So but
So
so I'm having fun with developing this theory, while developing it with the facts that we have, with a little speculation thrown in. At some point, I'll reveal that whenever that might be appropriate, but I'm not quite there yet. But you know, so
so
but
I'll address a comment here. So again, Robin didn't say it in the beginning, but you guys have to be respectful. L Price 2826.
what's going on?
You can have your own. You can have your own opinion. That's fine. I do work for NYPD, and that it has been verified by Devil's
Many
Advocate
times.
Lee. He actually met with me here, and we went shooting at a shooting range with fellow NYPD officers. So I don't really have to explain myself to you, but
No,
you have to be
that's
I don't
right. I
know.
didn't
I
see
don't
that
know
comment.
why. Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
Lon.
okay. I don't know why. I don't know why you want to question what I have to say. You could have a difference in opinion on what I'm saying, but I'm not gonna have you. I'm not gonna allow you to stay here to question uh,
No,
what I actually do for a living. So
no. That is, um we value differences of opinion here on this channel, but we do not allow trolling. We don't allow defaming, and we do not allow disrespect, towards panelists, guests, and the other members of the denizens. So
Right.
we, if you don't like what's being said, if you want to you're just here to try to rile people up or whatever, you can just move on. We have a graded approach here. Your first offense, so to speak, you'll be timed out for 5 minutes. If you can't, come back and be a little bit more well behaved, you'll get timed out again. If it happens
Yeah.
again, we
So
explore
maybe,
other options.
yeah.
But
So L Price, I'm not, but you're talking about, I'm asking, oh, well, I don't know, maybe you're new to the room, whatever, but before you make assumptions and you just make statements, you should ask a question, and then when you get the answer, then you take it from there. So my capacity right now, I'm actually a lieutenant, and I work in Brooklyn. I saw as what Essie posted a little before. I'm actually waiting to. I'm not a captain yet. Hopefully in a few months. And I have 22 years of experience in NYPD. I have worked in Harlem. I've worked in Washington Heights, which is part of Manhattan. I've worked in various areas of Queens. I've worked in various areas of Brooklyn. So I have done extensive time on the streets. And for those of you who see what goes on in New York City, I have responded to multiple homicides and whatnot. So
right. Okay.
and many other
Yep.
crimes. But so
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question. If you have other questions, yeah, I didn't say
They
about
don't. They don't dare ask me what my job is or what it has been. Go ahead, ask me what my job is, chat.
What's your job, Jason?
I
Well,
didn't say
no,
You're gonna have to tell me.
I will only answer if the chat asks as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They probably don't care. But
Well,
if they do, I'll
yeah.
address.
Oh my gosh.
But I love what one said.
No,
Now that part is a compliment.
Right.
And you
No,
are
but,
young looking woman.
yeah. That's well. I did lose a lot of weight in the past 2.5 years, so that definitely has helped.
All right. Congrats.
But yeah, no, I don't claim to, if I don't know something, I won't claim that I know it. So I never claimed that I was a detective or that, because I wasn't. I did regular patrol. I performed duties as a sergeant in multiple areas, and same as a lieutenant. But I never specifically investigated a homicide as a detective, but that doesn't mean I never responded to a scene and secured a crime. When it comes to seeing dead bodies, when it comes to securing a crime scene and on all that fun stuff, yes, I have extensive knowledge of that. Yep. So I hope I answered your question there. And
yeah, L Price, yeah. Now, Jason, you said if the chat asked what you do, and they did. So what?
Oh no, they did. I have to disclose. Well,
denial asked.
Let's just say I may have worked in very, very highly classified UFO projects, and I can't say any more than that. Where the secrecy, even if you divulge the existence of what you're working on, you could be killed or jailed 30 years. That's how compartmentalized the secrecy is in some of these projects. That's a whole other subject. Now, going back to the Idaho 4, just real quick, Rob, before I forget,
you're a singer, though, aren't you?
Pardon?
Something musical. You do something with music, I think.
Oh, I have a music reaction channel where I react to the best singers around the world. That's at Jason Fitness Captain Music. Thanks, Robin. I get to promote that channel. Wonderful. But I like what one said, and I want to know from one. Do you know why two homicide detectives who seem very, very, very good? They have a lot of experience. They come on, the Surviving the Survivor with Joel, and I don't know if you've ever seen them interviewed. And they're very articulate, but they never say any of what you're saying. Where is the blood curdling screams from Dylan Morrison if you're having quadruple killing, stabbings, and their faces are getting mutilized? And even if one of them were asleep, eventually these people I think it was proven already they were awake anyway, and they're eventually going to get awake with stabbing. So why wouldn't a homicide detective say that? Do you know why? What they're missing?
I don't know. I don't know. And the other thing is too that it seems to be, in the last week or two, it seems to be everywhere where people say, other content creators are saying it's a bombshell dropping and whatnot. With my experience, I think I said it on here a week ago. Sure, it's not, just because I say something means it's the gospel. I'm not saying that at all. But all I could do is give you my experience and what I deal with and what I have dealt with NYPD. So we deal with shots fired all the time. Every day we deal with shots fired jobs. I cannot, after seeing the footage that, State of the JJ State of the Deep and Devil's Advocate got, and then the further video he got with him and Rhonda, and you see how closely knit that whole place is, and you look at that Queens apartments that are right behind the house. You're telling me that a shot went off, and that didn't echo through that whole place at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Even with a silencer, excuse me.
No,
you would hear, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that is a big thing too, because I heard Birdie say it as well on one of his streams recently. People are under the wrong impression on a silencer. When people who don't know about guns, they think when they hear a silencer, they just think of what they see in Hollywood movies. It sounds like nothing. It's not like that at all. It really is not like that. It still makes a noise. It still would echo. And there is nothing that you could do to convince me that a gunshot went off at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you did not have not even one 911 call. I mean, look at what I think people looked it up. There was a 911 call on 1113 that there's no report, and it's on the other side of town. And what was it? It was from a party. It was a party going on, right?
Yeah.
Well, there were other parties going on around 1122 as well. There were parties that were going on, right? The frat there was the party that Xana and and Ethan came from. There were multiple parties going on. Well,
right.
You're telling me that a gunshot went off and there's not one 911 call, not one. I don't believe it. From my experience, from what I see, we get, in the middle of the night, we get a 911, what sounds to be a shot. And sometimes it is. Sometimes there are shots that go off.
Sure.
We'll get 3, 4, 5 calls. And sometimes we'll find shell casings, or we'll find, sometimes it could be the, a muffler from a car or something. It happens.
Right.
We do have a shot spotter. I know they don't have shot spotter in Moscow, or they didn't at that time. But there's no way that I will believe that. I know the whole big thing now is that, Kaylee was shot in the face, and that they had to make it look like that, so they removed the evidence from her face, and they just, messed up her face to hide the evidence. That's a likely you know, a likely theory. That's great to hide the bullet. You wanna do that, but you're still not going to be able to hide the noise. You're not going to
Right.
be able to hide the noise. There's just not with the way it. You know, maybe if it was kind of a different area, if it was more, you know, a little more rural, if it was more further out. But
Right. And
all those people, and I believe the custody queens made a point too. With like one of them said she wasn't in a sorority, but she played soccer, and she's like, yeah, some of those apartments you could have like multiple people living in, you know, in like one room, you know, one or two rooms. There were tons of people there. There's no way I believe that a shot went off and not one person called 911. I'm sorry.
I'm going to just put for those of you who have not seen Lee's daylight footage of that area, I'm going to drop it in the chat and you can go and you can watch it. It is eye-opening. I mean, okay, I'm a singer and so I
All right.
understand a lot about acoustics. And
Yes.
when you have the shape of that neighborhood and where that house is, what was
Right.
the embankment that led up to that upper parking lot, and then all the buildings behind it, the noise from a gunshot, even say if it had a silencer, would have been tremendous.
Right.
So
Right.
and I put the link there in the chat so that when you guys get time, if you have not seen that footage, please go watch it. It will give you a whole new appreciation for how small that area was, how small a lot of the buildings are there, how close in proximity these buildings are to one another. Really, truly, if you have not seen that video, watch it, and you will have a whole new appreciation of the size of that area and why it is very difficult to believe that there were gunshots like in that residence or even right outside the residence. Now, that's not saying that whoever committed these murders did not have a gun and did not use it for purposes of restraint to keep people in line.
Right.
It's
Right.
not
That's a
saying
good
that
point. Right.
there
Right.
was not a gun there whatsoever. We're saying that in our way of thinking that a gun was not fired. A gun did not actually go off.
Right.
So
Again, Pavarotti solved the case. We're trying to still catch
Yeah.
up to Pavarotti. He said that,
dang it.
right? He said, to your point, a gun was involved, or he didn't use those words, but he's saying it was involved because he said, basically, he's believing what Steve G said. But he's sorry. My point
He's pretty much saying
Pavarotti,
it now, though. His
yes,
latest, yeah,
he said,
he's saying it
hold
now.
on. He said a gun was
Yeah.
used bashing, he thinks, Kaylee's nose and broke her nose. I mean,
Yeah.
oh, that Pav, he's something else. But believe it if you want. I don't. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, and like we said, we appreciate all creators. We're not
Yes.
hating
Yes.
anyone. That's
Yeah,
but
right. Listen, what I could say real quick about Pav. So I make it clear, I'm not attacking Pav. I'm
Questions.
clarifying. I have questions and I have a difference of opinion than him. I don't see Dylan and Bethany being all of a sudden, oh, everything they said is true up to the 911 call. No, I still say they're saying a lot of horse shit. I still don't believe most of what they're saying. And you know what I will give credit to Pav for is at least he seems like he's being open to some other theories and to some other stuff. So
right.
I
Well,
know
not really. I would disagree with you on that because I'm challenging him. If you,
Yeah.
you know, if he's
I know.
open-minded, like he says he is, then you
Right.
talk about an extraction removal operation, or allow somebody like myself to talk about it, and us that we talk about trying to connect those dots to see if that's a real possibility. And somebody like him doesn't want to go there, apparently. And that's all I'm saying.
Right.
It's all good.
Right. That's his prerogative as far as and
That's why
you
I got
know,
a challenge for him: boxing match
Yeah.
and interview.
there
Yeah.
you go. There you go. Okay. All right. So I think we're gonna move on from Idaho 4. I know Lee likes us to touch on a little bit more than just that, because he has 5 cases in total, 4 other ones besides that one. And I did just want to talk a little bit about the Long Island serial killer case, or LISC, Rex Human. I want to put another link to a video that Lee just did this past week on Shannon Gilbert. As some of you know, he has developed a good relationship with John Ray, who is the longtime family attorney for the Shannon Gilbert family. And so this video that he did is just tremendous, because John Ray recently sent him some new information concerning Peter Hackett, Dr. Peter Hackett. John Ray is in the process of kind of going after Dr. Hackett to get the truth from him, as far as what his role in this whole thing was. So let me just stick that in the chat here. Oh, you know what? I should really just stop sharing this thing here.
Yeah, you could take that then.
Excuse me, Robin. I have to split. I wish I'd get into the case with you guys, but next time, hopefully you wait for me and you guys knock it out of the park. You're doing great. Have a great night, and
All
thanks
right,
for
you too.
inviting me on. Thank
Yeah.
you, Robin.
All right.
All
You're
right.
the
Take care,
best.
Have a good
Jason.
night.
Take
You
care.
guys are the best. Thank you. Will.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye. Okay. So yes, I know Jason, he's been kind of fighting an injury, and so I know what he hung out actually longer than we expected him to, but we're so
Yeah.
glad that he did. We miss our whole
Yeah.
panel when you guys aren't here. I mean, we're so used to everyone being here, but we shall carry on. And so this video is just incredible, because for years John Ray fought Suffolk County Police for, first off, for the 911 call, okay, from that night, which he finally got, and then he had to fight for permission to actually release it. And so finally, we're going to get to hear, not just snippets of it. We do get to hear in Lee's video the full 911 call. And it's a little too long to play here right now.
Right.
But the link is, I put the link in the chat, and you'll be able to go watch that video in its entirety. And it's just, incredible.
Yeah.
And
It's
but
amazing.
in his video, Shannon's final night was not calm. In the 911 call, they try to say, or not the 911 call, the police try to say that she doesn't sound distressed in any way, and that's complete bupkis.
It's
I mean, yeah.
They are trying to kill me.
Yeah, I mean, literally, they
They
are
are
trying to kill me.
They are trying to
Not
kill
he.
me.
Right, not he, they. So we've got more than one person after her.
And what's very interesting about what they showed with that too, what Lee showed with that info that he got from John Ray. Well, who was that? Who was the neighbor? What was the neighbor's name that said that he let her in the house? I forget his
Oh my
name.
gosh, his name just Essie. His name just went right out of my head.
I'm always
That's
so
terrible.
bad.
I can see the guy. I can see the guy. Yeah,
Right.
his story changes
Yeah. So
from
his thing
no,
is
not the
super.
doctor. Oh my
No,
God.
no, not the doctor. It's the guy who said
Galletti?
it's
Oh my gosh.
something like that.
Joe Coletti. Joe Coletti. Thank you,
Joe
Essie.
Coletti.
Yeah,
That
he's
guy.
been yeah,
His thing is a key piece because he was definitely so much covering for the
yeah.
doctor. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Now,
because they're best friends. They're best
right,
friends.
they were best friends. So I could tell you from my take, and I'm in agreement with kind of what Lee said, what I took when I heard, and then seeing his interview, what he gave. So Galletti, so what he basically says is that he says that Shannon came to his house and she was distraught and said someone was trying to get her or whatever,
Mhm.
and she caught and he let her in the house and he calls 911. That is
Right,
not what happened at all. That is clearly not what happened.
right,
What First off, he doesn't call 911 until after she leaves. And
right.
what it sounds like to me when you hear the 911 call, I forget the exact line that she says. She says something like, what was it again? Like, oh, you're here, or something like that. There was someone else
Oh,
who
it's
was,
you.
oh, it's
Yeah,
you. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
She
It's
said,
you.
oh, it's you. So she's not saying that to Galetta. Obviously, she doesn't know who Galetta is.
Coletti.
He's the one that answered the door. So there's someone else who's in that place. Now, who is it? Is it maybe it's Rex Horman? Maybe who knows? But there's someone else that she recognized who was with him that alarmed her, and that's why she ran off.
Yeah, she says, "Are you a part of this?"
You're right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and so his story doesn't add up as
Nope.
far as what actually happened versus his story. You know,
And then I
so
find it, and
the
then I
timelines
find
provided,
yeah.
the
And then
the
the other thing
timelines
that's like crazy, the other thing that's like crazy too is just where he said, "Oh, it's not like you'd find the body in the front yard, right?" He said
right,
something like that.
right, and then he tried to tell the police that she headed one way, she went one way, and
Right,
she actually was found in a completely different direction. So
right,
there was
right,
that.
right.
Where was the camera from the guard shack? Where I mean, it got written over. Apparently, they
Yeah,
never collected that to our knowledge.
no, no, and there would
So
have been no, and there would have been there would have been other video, but wasn't the doctor was on he's on like the committee or whatever for the
yeah,
association.
the AO,
Right,
Housing Association.
right. So
Yeah,
that could have been easily manipulated
yeah,
before anyone even knew there was anything wrong.
right. And that's this is all stuff that Lee lays out in that video, and of course, he does it so well. And the search radius was limited early on, even though she stayed in the community for quite a while. I mean, she's running around the neighborhood. She's running around. So why did they limit the search area so much?
Yeah,
I mean,
I
that makes
know.
that makes absolutely no sense to me. And so many, there are, in her case, and I hope and pray that my fervent wish is that John Ray, his involvement and the important work that he is doing will somehow shake loose justice for Shannon after all this time. I hope and pray that it does. The other sad part of that, though, is that her mom didn't
Right.
live long enough to see that happen. But
Right. Right.
with this important work that John Ray is doing, that's my most fervent wish is that Shannon's case also is resolved, and that she may get the justice that she deserves. So,
Yeah.
yep. So, but so that video link, please go watch that video. It's just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And
It's a
the
long video, but well worth your
it is,
time.
but it's worth it. Even
Yeah.
if you break it up into chunks, believe me, it is
Yeah.
worth it. I mean, it's just incredible. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on, before we maybe get to some questions, in the chat, if you guys have any questions, if we can answer them, we will. If not, we'll take that as homework and we'll work on it and come back, and answer your questions. So for those of you who follow the Luigi Mangione case, Lee will be covering that a lot this week because the suppression hearings start tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, we aren't going to be able to see any of it because New York doesn't allow, very rarely does New York ever allow cameras in the courtroom, unfortunately.
Right.
But Lee has a specific news outlet that he follows. It's like unbiased, so he's going to be following that throughout the hearings and reporting in on that. I do know he is also trying to line up some few things with Ali Benaventos, who is of course following that case very closely. So I know they may hopefully be able to get together on that and present some stuff. So that's going to be exciting. Luigi is a young, good-looking guy. He's captured many, many hearts. He's also, there's of course various theories. Was he directly involved? Was he the alleged shooter? Was he a decoy? Was he never there? Completely innocent? And again, there's a lot of different scenarios that could be. My personal feeling is that he is involved perhaps somehow. I don't believe he was the shooter. I don't think he was anywhere near that hotel that day. But what exactly his involvement is, I don't know. And I reserve the right to change my opinion, depending on, how things go. But what I will say is that I do agree with Lee that his arrest in Pennsylvania is complete bullshit.
Oh yeah.
He was held without any kind of Miranda rights. He was never told, we're investigating you for this, that, whatsoever. I mean, they kept him in that McDonald's for way too long. And it wasn't just like one or two cops. I think there was at least six. I'm pretty, I don't know why six is sticking in my mind at the moment. So yeah, it's going to be a big case. I hope that you will, follow, and many of you do follow Lee for more than just the Idaho 4, because these other cases are just as important, because the common thread that runs through these cases is the hiding of evidence, the skirting around the law themselves in some cases, just the sheer bullshit that is happening. I mean, in the Luigi case, you have the prosecution who violated Luigi's rights many times. already, and it's not even, close to going to trial yet.
Yeah.
And so that's a common theme in these cases. And Jason and Joe, they would be very happy to hear me to say that a lot of this is why there are many people who do believe that these are psyops or cover-ups. We do know there is some cover-up in all of these somewhere along the line, but is it what sec in the case of Idaho 4? Is it so? Because they're not forthcoming with information, this is what fuels all of this. And
Right.
I just wish, and I, it's channels like Lee and like Lana and Phoenix and Birdie, and I mean just all these different creators that aren't falling into the trap of the mainstream media. They're doing the important work that these supposed news outlets no longer do or will. So it's kind of like up to these creators and all of us, the public at large, to be asking questions,
Right.
to
Right.
call out the bullshit in the lies.
Right.
So and with that, we can't thank you guys enough for coming out. There's 55 people still here hanging out with us. It's been wonderful as always, guys. Tomorrow night, of course, Lee is on Birdie. Who knows what the hell those guys we never know. We never know what's happening with those two. We always know it's good though, and it's always entertaining, and they always have some very intriguing questions and theories. So that's of course 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern, and 5 o'clock Pacific. I think I'm right. And then of course Tuesday night. Right here, same time, same bat channel, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So, did you have any other pretty words for us this evening?
Just wanted to thank the team and in my absence. I hopped in a little bit here or there, but yeah, I mean I was mostly in bed the last 3 days. Definitely special thanks to Amanda for tracking down and getting me that closed hearing document today. So Amanda has I'm almost thinking that Amanda is a vampire. She really does. She does a lot to help me at times. I almost feel bad about asking her a question because
Amanda is amazing.
anytime I ask for help, she never tells me no. So
No,
I just wanted to send my gratitude to Amanda and to our whole team. I saw all the messages that you guys send, Penny and everyone else. Unfortunately, I did get sick, but I'm back now and raring to
so
go.
glad that you are back. So glad that you are back. And you're right. We do have a great team. We have, Amanda, as everybody knows, she does a lot of our graphics. She's helping Lee overhaul. That website looks freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So it does. And, we have Penny. She does a lot of logistics type things and so forth. Cat Farm does amazing songs. And, Marie, she helps out with a lot of the like Luigi documents and stuff like that. And so we do have a tremendous team, and it's all because we believe in Lee's mission.
Yeah.
And so, and as well, the denizens, we couldn't do this without you guys. We couldn't do this without you guys. Your support each and every day means the world. So I hope each and every one of you have a wonderful evening. And again, tune in for Lee over on Birdie's channel. We'll be live streaming it here too. You know that they always co-stream. So come on out tomorrow night, and then Tuesday back here with, of course, the man in charge will be here himself. So I hope everyone has a great night.
Good night, guys.